I got a 2-0 loss.
Ooh.
I don't think we're getting it done. Prove me wrong, boys. Prove me wrong, boys.
Here's Osman Bukhari, and it gets to the legs of St. Clair and goes over the line. Austin have a goal. Uzuni's header, saved from St. Clair. Fondre volleys in. There's your unlikely hero, CJ Fondre, with his second career goal, and it sends Austin FC to the Open Cup final.
1, 2, 3, 4.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome in to the North End Podcast, episode 257. My name is Zach Graham, your host here in the North End, joined, as always, by my good buddy. He's on record as my best friend. His name is Ian Michaud, and we call him... E, sitting here on a Thursday, beautiful Austin, Texas, the site of the 2025 U.S. Open Cup Championship match scheduled for October 1st. I think everybody knows the answer to this, but I'll ask you as I always do. How you feeling, my friend?
Oh, I've been better. Yeah. No, man, I am ecstatic. So incredibly excited and happy for this team. I mean, another CJ goal, like another CJ game winner. What are we doing here? Oh God. Just what a match last night. And, I think people being tepid in their expectations of going up there and playing this Minnesota club and beating them in that type of game, in a knockout game at their place, was well-founded. But I think a lot of people, me included, really wanted to see a good display after what took place in Frisco.
Yeah,
and
a competitive display.
Yes, and not only did you have that and you came out and you played them, you won. So this is incredible. And now, like I was telling you last night, I've never been to a professional championship game in my life, everything on the line like that. So I am incredibly excited. This is going to be a historic moment for the entire city, regardless if you're an Austin FC fan or not. So everyone should be juiced up and amped up. And good Lord, the vibes are just completely different from coming back earlier this week from Frisco. So here we go, baby. Let's get into it. Excited to chat about this one, man. Hell yeah, let's go.
Look, I appreciate you having my back right there. Unbeknownst to you, the listeners and viewers have already heard a little joke that opened the podcast, but just for good measure, here you can have this. I got a 2-0 loss. Ooh. I don't think we're getting it done. Prove me wrong, boys. Prove me wrong, boys.
Prove me wrong, boys.
Hey,
I knew it the whole time.
Yeah, you don't like to be proved wrong often, but I think you'll take it in this situation.
I don't know if I've ever been so happy to be wrong.
Yeah.
Well, we will recap last night's semifinal victory here on episode 257. We've also got a Seattle match to preview, Sunday Night Soccer, coming to Q2 Stadium this weekend. We've got an FCTO match to preview against the best team in Next Pro with St. Louis City 2 coming to town. We got an Academy update, some nonsense at the end. Before we get into today's celebratory episode, just want to remind you all listening or watching on the YouTube channel that you can support the show financially by downloading the audio versions of our episodes wherever you get your podcasts. You toggle on auto downloads on Apple, Spotify, wherever you're getting those pods. That'll support the show going forward, and you don't have to think about it again. If you want to go the extra mile, rate and review the show wherever you get your pods. And if you are watching on the YouTube channel, there is no better time than today to smash the subscribe button. It does help us grow the show. And you can also hit the notification bell to know when a live stream pops up or a new episode goes live. And of course, here on episode 257, hit the thumbs up, like the video. Help us battle the YouTube algorithm overlords and support the guys who are going to the championship. Could have been smoother with that, E. We haven't won anything yet, but this is going to be a fun episode. And everybody, join us in washing yourselves clean in the waters of the North End. So I also will say, I am proud of the fan base because the sickos have caught on before I could even get to a post that Austin FC put up on any of their socials. We had the sickos clocking 18 players shown in the social media posts. So we knew who was on. Like, look, we are so deep into the comms team Cold War here that we've got people not only identifying the 18 players and like remembering that we have a shorter bench in the Open Cup, but then people reaching out to me and saying, are they fucking with us? Did they bring other guys too and purposefully show 18 players? So I just wanted to say to anybody who was out there doing that type of crumbs work, shout out to you. Salute.
I mean, you're enlisted now. This is a very real Cold War that we are participating in, and we need all the help that we can get. Look for knee braces, crutches, anything you can find, ankle tape. We'll take it.
Oh man. So coming into the match last night, I think we definitely thought that the 11 that we had seen more often than not over the last 2 months was what we were probably going to see when the lineup dropped an hour before kickoff on Wednesday night. We also speculated here on the preview pod on Sunday that we could see that 5-back look because that's what Coach Estevez did in the road leg back in May that did get us a 1-1 draw. But I don't think anybody around the fan base trying to do a predicted 11 had what we ran out there last night because it was, of course, Brad Stuver in net. But then you start looking at the names that pop up after him on that little graphic. Mikel Dessler, okay. Mateo Djordjevic, okay, we're getting something different here. Julio Cascante, Brendan Heinzike, John Kolmanich. So, like, I mean, dude, you said on Sunday, you were like, if this is any other game, we probably bench Biru. And, like, I don't think this lineup was chosen because of their performance on Saturday. But it definitely didn't help Guilherme's case to get into the starting 11 with how poorly he played on Sunday. And it was Kolmanich who got the call. And the rest of the lineup here, Ilie, Danny, Owen, Osman, and Mirtu up top. And this was a 3-4-3 on the graphic that Paramount had up before this one started. And, man, I got to say, thinking back on it now, can you imagine going back to February and March, ZG and E, and telling them that this is the lineup, especially with Kolmanich in there, to you, like, that this would be the lineup in a Open Cup semifinal on the road with Biru healthy. And not only that you and I would be like, yeah, all right, let's ride. Makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think that I felt pretty confident about seeing the 5-back when we were previewing this game. Like I was feeling pretty confident about it. You look back to some of these games that we've advanced in, and we've played defensively. We've gone to PKs, and we've kind of mucked these games up. And in these knockout style games, that's favored us a little bit because we've had trouble scoring in the regular season. And you look at this back line, right? You said we were going to have to get something out of Julio, and you got it last night. I mean, probably his best game of the season, I would say.
I did not intend for that to mean 120 minutes in the semifinal. But
yeah, for sure.
Again, and shout out to Costa Rica, Los Ticos giving him those minutes. Like, if he doesn't play in that game last week for 85, can we play him for 120? He hadn't played for, it felt like months outside of like relief off the bench. Like, but he was great. And again, there's always going to be, especially if you get 2 hours of Julio out there, there's going to be 2 or 3 times you're like, well, there he is, right? Mm-hmm. Like you're giving up a little chance at the back or something doesn't look quite right on a clearance or something like that. But it was a hell of a shift from him. It
was a great shift from Kolmanich as well. And I'm with you that I don't think Biru got like punished here. I don't think Svatak got punished here. This is what we just chose to go with for the starting lineup. And I really tip my hat to Nico and his staff to have the fucking gusto to put this lineup out here, because we said it once we came out, just, oh God, if you lose this and this is the lineup you rolled out, there's going to be some really upset people in the fan base looking at you like, what the hell are you doing here? So to have the gusto to trust what you're going to do and roll this starting lineup out, which I thought was super effective, not only on the defensive side, but when you saw us kind of push a little bit more up the field, those center backs spread out wide. You got the box in the midfield, and we found different ways to attack them. Not that we we weren't horseshoeing too much. Right, particularly when you played this team. Like, it needs to be understood that this is the team with the least amount of possession in the league. I'm pretty sure it's not even super close.
No, it's not. I mean, dude, 30. I think it's 38.4, which is. I mean, we're like 7th or 8th lowest, and I think we're like high 40s or like mid to high 40s.
I mean, they are astronomically low, and like we played them at their own game, kind of, and we came out on top. It was really, really impressive, and I think I just want to get this out of the way. I think I said it last night while we were watching together. I thought this is one of Pep's best games he's ever had in an Austin FC kit. He was absolutely fantastic. He was all over the field last night, and seeing him being rewarded with the man of the match on FOTMob there just kind of solidified that feeling for me. So I wanted to get that out of the way here. But man, what a call. Like, seriously, what a call to do this. Like, absolutely fantastic. We did get a little bit of a hint from a little someone that there was going to be some changes in this lineup coming here, and this is not what I expected.
I was chalking that up to there's changes from what we saw Saturday.
Agreed.
Like, and that was true, but like, again, I was leaning more into like what we've seen. The same with Diego out there and Guilherme out there, etc. So and like I do. Hindsight is obviously 2020, and we're in a great mood today because we came out on top, but having Djordjevic in there with Julio, with the game plan that we ran out there, right, expecting to have at least 50% of the ball, because that even having 50% of the ball would be, I think, achieving your goal of making Minnesota play with it more than they want to in possession. But if you're going to have the ball that much, having Matea and Julio out there, who both, like, it was a one-game sample we saw Djordjevic out there. But the thing that we came away from that saying was his line-breaking passes and the way he was changing the field in that Sporting match was it popped off the screen. And you saw some more of that last night. And we know Julio's good at with the ball at his feet and finding guys and breaking lines both on the ground and over the top. And you saw that time and time again last night, whether it's hitting, Owen or Mirtu checking back into those spaces in between the Minnesota lines, or spraying it out wide to Kolmanic on the left or to Dessler on the right. And again, it was a risk, but certainly a calculated one. Like we were talking in a group chat to some buddies, right, who were like, man, we're rotating right for this. And I was like, I think this is very much intentional. Like, this is according to the plan that has been concocted in that room with the coaching staff. And like, we know Roto was up there too. So, and like, I think Roto is vocalizing his thoughts to this coaching staff too, not just for this game, but like, this felt very much like a all hands on deck situation from the coaching side of it.
Yeah, I mean, we all knew the magnitude of this. We all understood what was on the line here. Hosting this game in Austin, a championship, our first opportunity to win some real fucking hardware. Like, this is absolutely just a huge moment. Like, I can't even really put it into words because it is so big right now. We talk, like, we've been here for so long being like, where's Austin's sports team? You have your first fucking sports team here, and now we're going to get a chance to win a championship, man. It is impressive. And like, Minnesota is the ultimate smash and grab team. Boom, boom. You have the ball. We go score on you. All right, now you're down 1-0. Now you got to pick it up a little bit. Now we go score on you again. And you beat them at their own game. And the fact that we scored at the very end of the first half and then at the death is just so impressive, because your focus all the way through the half was up until that whistle was about to blow, and that's how you got the job done.
And you look at the other side too, like, maybe some rotation there, and like maybe like we thought maybe a Dominic Fitz could get in there, right? The new attacking midfielder that they brought in as I believe a DP. Joseph Rosales was also on the bench along with Fitz. Julian Gressel on the bench. So you see Anthony Markinick out there as one of their wingbacks, right? You're matching their 3-4-3 look, right? Romero, Boxel, Diaz on the back line, 3 big fucks. That is a talented defense there. With Bongi, I mentioned Markinick. You saw the man himself, Nectarios Triantis, get the start in their midfield as well. Lude, Pereira, and Yeboah up top.
It's a good team. Even
there's
with
no
them,
holes.
even with some rotation, that's a
Yeah.
good ass team. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like Rosales is obviously a good player. Markanich is, I think, is a very solid player. You got some of these new guys infused here and everything like that. Bongi obviously on the wing, super threatening. And like we've talked about with St. Clair, he's been on fire, but last night wasn't able to get the job done.
Let's get into this one, man. I just at the start of the game, I think anytime we go up there, fuck that loon call that they play up there. I hate it.
Really? Sue them.
I hate it.
It's
I hate it, especially when they do it for their second team too. You do it, get them back-to-back weeks, and just a little PTSD.
All right.
PTLD, post-traumatic loons disorder.
Fuck those birds.
Second minute, though, here's where the action really gets underway. Austin in possession here early, and there is a good line-breaking pass in this moment from Matea all the way to Osman on that right side, and I thought it was a good job by Buka to cushion that ball with his first touch because it was coming in hot. And Osman whips around Romero and is driving towards the 18. And as he arrives to the top of the box, he squares it centrally, right into the path of Owen Wolf. But Hlongwane steps in to win the ball. Owen goes down. Ref's not having it. And the fact we don't get a replay of this, like I it was baffling, especially when you go later to like plays that were not as consequential. And you get 18 different replays of them. Ilie was appealing to head official Alexis De Silva at the next stoppage, but nothing doing there. And again, just as a fan watching at home, like you have to have this is not Apple. It's fucking CBS Sports Network, man. How do we not have an angle of this?
Yeah, I know. And I can't even have a really great read on this or be too upset about it because we haven't seen it enough. And it is baffling that we didn't get one fucking replay of this play taking place right at the start of the game here. And then you have something to take place with Yeboah a little later where he goes down in the box, 100% a flop. And we saw 5 replays of that. They showed him in slow motion. Fucking prove me wrong.
Olympic diver. I will say, ultimately on the night, I don't think we have much of a gripe with the officials because we were the benefactors of some close calls, I guess we'll say. 5th minute here, long throw opportunity for Mike Boxall. And he hucks it in there, and the ball's pinged around 3, then 4 times before Robin Lod charges into the 18 to take command, and he juggles it to himself through 3 Austin defenders. And then he tries to chip it past Stuver, but it goes off the side of his foot and out for a goal kick. And this is where I remember you last night saying, gonna need some luck tonight. And I said, a lot of it.
Yeah, and you got the luck that you needed to get the job done. Robin Lod just goes overlooked on this team so often, but he's really good. 8 goal contributions on the year in league play, man. Like, he's a very solid player. This was a cheeky move, and honestly, I think he should have scored it. I think he wants that last touch back.
11th minute, you get a yell. You actually don't. And here's where, here's where the officiating really starts to go sideways. I think Julio pulls down Joaquin Pereira as it looked like Cascante thought there was going to be a breakaway opportunity, but like we had defenders back. So I was very surprised. This is a textbook yellow and no caution was shown. So I guess I will say that the officials, if they were consistent, it was in letting the guys play and really not forcing any sort of discipline throughout almost the entire game, really, where like if you could get away with not giving a card, De Silva was not looking to hand him out quickly.
I mean, and I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? Because I do think that they were consistent throughout the night, that they weren't really giving away any cheap fouls. It was a physical game. There was some really, I think controversial, particularly if you're a Loons fan, plays last night. And all I will point to is that the ref was letting us play both sides.
Yeah. 14th minute. Here's the Loons threatening Austin with a pair of corner kicks. And the second one is cleared back all the way to Dane St. Clair. But the Loons able to win his service that comes back down towards the Austin defensive area. He just pings it right back into the mixer. And this is where I think you're first, Julio, because this is a questionable headed clearance attempt. And I think like you were saying, he should have headed it back towards Brad. And in the moment, I agreed. I think he was maybe a little bit nervous of like, because he was off balance, Julio, that if he heads it backwards, I don't think he knew where Stuver was and didn't want to put him in a bad spot to potentially put an own goal in there. But after Julio just kind of clears it straight up into the air and it falls back like 2 yards outside of our penalty area. The ball does kind of deflect around from a couple players until it finds the feet of Pereira, who's entering, and I guess I need to say Joaquin and Danny in this game because those guys are both all over the place. So Minnesota Pereira is entering that 18-yard box on the right, and he just hits that ball right on the half volley, and we're lucky that he scuffs it wide across the face of net because Stuver was beat if that was a little bit more accurate. It was one of those Brad, lunges, but then he looks and follows the ball because he's not sure it's not going in.
Yeah, man. Again, I think you got a little lucky, and I knew that we knew we were going to need some of that last night. It had to be baked into the equation. We were the inferior team going up there to play this club, and you got some of that luck. I want to talk about their set pieces in the corners you're giving up earlier. This is the number one team scoring off set pieces in the league. This is part of their game plan. They take very effective set pieces. Their long throws are designed plays where they push box all the way up there, and that troll can just yeet that ball. Yeah. It's ridiculous. And he also stops his momentum with both feet on the line and still gets enough juice to get that thing in the box. The guy's a jerk and a bum, but he can throw the ball pretty far.
20th minute here. We've got the good guys in possession. Again, Minnesota is in their block here in their own half, and we're just trying to find spots to break them down. And Austin works it from right to left after a nice two-man game by Danny and Mikael Dessler, breaks a line, and then the ball ends up with Jean Coleman. It's just above the 18 on that left wing, and he whips a ball towards the near post. Now Azuni's making a run in the box, and he adjusts his run across the face of that Minnesota defender. I thought he did very, very well with his positioning there, but on the bounce, he meets it and can't redirect that ball on frame. But this was 20 minutes in, the best opportunity for either team so far. And similar to, like you said, Robin Lod probably wants his opportunity back from the first 5 minutes. Mirtu can do better, and he knows it here.
Absolutely could do better here. But yes, great ball from Komanic. We'll focus on the positive things here. Excellent run from Azuni and great timing here. And it wasn't like we even had a particularly large amount of people in that box at that moment. So this was the spot to pick him out. And yeah, Mirtu can definitely, because you only need to put a little bit of a redirect on this, and I'm pretty sure you're beating St. Clair if it's got any quality behind it.
The very next possession here, Minnesota puts the ball over the top from Joaquin Pereira to Kelvin Yeboah down that left side, and he gets around Mateja Djordjevic at first, and then as he gets into the area, feels some contact and just dives like an Olympian here. Yeah. Off the high dive, and De Silva is not fooled in the moment. Yeboah does stay down, and he's grabbing kind of at his hamstring or maybe his glute a little bit there. I thought he was faking at the time because that was one of the more pathetic penalty attempts. And I think if he just takes the contact and falls normally, he might have gotten a better call from VAR or a call rather from VAR. But we see that replay plenty of times, and you just needed to see it once to know that there was absolutely nothing there.
I mean, he literally injured himself on this play diving.
Yeah.
He hurt his tailbone. He lands on his ass and he hurts his tailbone. So I can't feel too bad for you, man. This was definitely not a foul. And you're trying to sell this, and particularly with the game being called and officiated the way that it was, and then getting him off the field. It's another lucky situation. The guy literally hurt himself. You got some fortunate favor there to get him off the pitch.
24th minute, Austin in possession, and the whistle is blown as Markinick is just rolling around on the ground. And on the replay, Osman Bukhari definitely kicks out in retaliation for what was a second shove by Markinick on Osman over the last couple of minutes. That first shove that he gives him, you see it on the replay. Definitely deserved retaliation, but Osman also has to be I was just saying on Sunday how one of the big differences I perceive between Javier and Osman as both right wingers predominantly is that Osman's field mapping, right? His overall feel for the game, his soccer IQ seems to be just a level above what Javier has been bringing. But from a disciplinary standpoint, man, this is the lowest of the low. You can get back at this kid without kicking at him with your cleat, and he ends up getting a yellow, which the only thing I can think of why this was not a red is that he doesn't actually make contact. We don't get a close up here. It is a a wide shot that we see on the replay. But I know a lot of Loons fans were saying Book should have been sent off here. And I cannot disagree with them, man. I was sitting on the couch last night, leaned back. I think you had just gone to the kitchen for something. You came back. You're like, what's going on? And I think I said to you, I think Book's going to get sent off here, and rightfully so. And so, again, the luck was absolutely on our side in this moment, and I think on the night. And when you meet that with a good game plan and guys who were busting their ass and going all out, like all of that kind of came to a head by the end of this one and helped you advance. But we are certainly not going to pretend that we did not get a favorable judgment here, because I think that's the only way you can really look at this.
I mean, yeah, that's the recipe for an upset. When you're an inferior team, you need a little bit of these components in the mixture, in the sauce, to be able to pull off the upset, and we got that. Look, you got to be smarter. I know that this didn't end up getting him sent off from this game, but you really rolled.
It's straight up dumb, dude.
You rolled the dice.
Who you are.
Yeah, you really rolled the dice here, and I thought he was going to be sent off. I really did, and like we see it all the time, and no matter what league you're looking at, the second guy usually gets tagged. Did Mark Anich push you? He did. But again, the person who retaliates is more often than not the person who receives the heaviest punishment. And he very well could have been sent off. And I saw a lot of complaining in some MLS threads from a bunch of Loons fans. So now I'm going to say, good call. Yellow.
Man, it's just I don't know, man. He knows better than that.
No, he knows better.
Come on, dude.
Yes,
all these guys do.
That was an incredibly boneheaded and stupid decision. And if he goes out here, this is the 29th minute, 30th minute of the game?
24th, I think.
Okay. So, if he goes out here, you're done. The game's
we're not
over.
winning.
You lose. You just can't risk this, man. You can't. You're too important.
Yeah.
They would trade Markinich for Book in a heartbeat to get them both. That's an unfair deal. So, very dumb, very fortunate to get away with this.
Yeah, so we take our mulligan and keep moving. And this is where, in the 28th minute, you mentioned Yeboah comes off. He was actually, I forgot this until the rewatch today here, that he was hobbling around out there for about 5 more minutes before they actually take him off. So in the 28th, Joseph Rosales comes in for Kelvin Yeboah, which at first shifted Robin Lod up top. And then shortly thereafter, Bongi Hongwane, that's who I said at first should be up top right away. So you're welcome, Coach Ramsey. And at this point, man, this is, I think, 28th minute where we first noticed on the broadcast that you can 100% hear the 150 Austin FC fans over the 9,000 Minnesota fans. And once for me at least, I won't speak for you or anybody else who was watching, but once I noticed that, couldn't stop hearing it. And they went, of course, as they do. The traveling supporters there went hard for 2+ hours. And again, I think that they're playing a sort of a 12th man role. I think there's no doubt about that at home at Q2, right? But this was I just think the fans that traveled need their kudos too, man. That was really awesome to see. And the broadcast, we don't see it, our guys, in the stands until 43 minutes. And even then it's a close-up. They never once, until after the match, I think, never once showed the full section there. And I know we've been going in on Apple TV producers all year, but the CBS producers here, are you trying to tell the story of this match or not? Yeah, and it wasn't just Austin. We didn't get a ton of clips of the Wonderwall or anything like that either, right? Their supporters section there. So I was disappointed in the broadcast. And once again, shout out to all the traveling supporters, because you guys showed out.
Yeah, I'm right there with you on this one. I'm going to give credit to the fans, not for this win, but I think they played a role. I really
you didn't hurt the guys going out there cheering your ass off.
And again, I was on the socials looking at stuff and seeing Loons fans and tons of people being like, "Damn, I haven't seen so many fans in the opposing section before." Yeah. Y'all really, really brought it. And when an opposing team says that means something. And I think, yes, 12th man. And that's why getting this home game too is so important, because we're going full-breasted, full-throated 12th man for this championship game. So huge shout out to all the fans, best fans of the league, man.
No question. 34th minute here. You do get a yellow card to Jefferson Diaz. two-hand shoving Owen down on a break. And that's like, I don't know, 6 yards above the Minnesota 18 and like kind of left of the target there, which is Jean Coleman's range, and he lines up over it for this free kick. But it's not his best, and Minnesota clears it out, but only as far as Osman there on the right side, and he corrals that second ball. He gets closed down by Triantis, so Buka like shields the ball and then just spins around him to open space up to the end line, and he crosses it all the way back to the left side of the 6, where it just drops right to the foot of Owen Wolf, but his shot goes into the side netting, and it was a tough angle. Yeah. But again, you see just the danger that Buka poses to opposing defenses, because like you have midfielders, forwards, goalkeepers, fullbacks, center backs, nobody can stay with this guy. And it's just a simple shield, feel you on my back, and I'm just going to put that ball 5 yards behind us, and good luck beating me to it.
I mean, what Triantis,
Nectarios Triantis
literally puts his head down to be like, I'm really going to try to run hard. And he's losing ground. Like, incredible. I want to point out, it's around this part of the first half where I'm starting to look at the Minnesota players' faces. Starting to look at their faces. You're seeing a little bit of frustration. Yabo has just been subbed out. You're seeing a little bit of, are we going to be able to do this? And I mean, not to give a huge history lesson here, but if you follow the major professional sports in this country, the Minnesota fans have nothing outside of the Lynx to really cheer for. The T-Wolves, the Twins, the Vikings, all heartbreaking losses in big moments. And that stuff kind of sets in. I don't think it played too much of a role here with this team, but you did start to see the frustration on their faces. And that's what we wanted. Wanted to take them off of their game a little bit, and we executed the game plan perfectly in this first half.
You said the Lynx there, man. Now you got me thinking just momentarily. I'm ready for Aces Lynx finals. My Aces got to get out of the first round tonight, though, so that's a big game tonight. So, all right, there's WNBA corner here. We move on into the 43rd minute where Austin wins a corner, and this is where you finally get that glimpse of the supporters, but it's like a close-up of like 4 also. Yeah. Again, zoom out, like show the full weight of what we're bringing up there. That corner gets cleared out. And that's where you and I think where we were watching start talking about, let's get to the half. And there's 3 minutes of stoppage time given. And in the second minute, you get a yellow card to Danny for a high boot on Will Trapp, and very dangerous there. I thought, again, this is not as obvious to me as the Buka kick out, but I think with if you get fucking Victor Rivas from Saturday on this one, I think he might be thinking about a red card there for Danny, because on the replay, he goes much higher to Trapp on his leg than it looked live. And again, I think we are just lucky on the night that they were letting guys be so physical. And again, maybe we should credit the officials, not for potentially keeping our guys on when they should have been sent off, but allowing that physicality and realizing the gravity of the moment, the gravity of this game and what it means to both sides, right, in a knockout semifinal scenario.
And I mean, in a bang kind of spur of the moment play here, this is actually more dangerous than what Book did earlier.
Yes,
because he makes much more contact with Trapp's leg, I believe it was.
Danny, Trapp, sorry.
Yep, makes much more contact with his leg than Book did. Not to jump back to the Book thing, but we also had Mark Anich rolling down his knee and trying to show the ref, and there's literally nothing there. He did not get touched. I don't think that helped his case, but this was a dangerous one, and credit to Danny, man, for getting this card early, but keeping his head and seeing it out.
He stayed on the field. There were definitely moments in the second half where I was like, maybe we should take him out because he's going to get a second. But so clock ticks over the 3 minutes of stoppage, on a St. Clair long ball. And so we're hollering, blow the whistle. I think you at 2 minutes and 40 seconds, I think you were like, blow the whistle. And the ball's pinging around after that St. Clair clearance, 4 or 5 headers. And it ends up falling to the feet of Owen Wolf, who brings it down with just the softest touch, while at the same time bringing the ball, whirling around to shield the ball from Triantis while he's bringing it down. And then when he turns, as he's bringing it down towards that right side, which allows him to look up and see Osman. I don't know if they may have made eye contact here, because as soon as he turns right there,
Yep.
Osman takes off and Owen lofts it over the top, right into the path of Buka, and he takes one touch. I thought for a half second it was too far, but it was just the right amount that he needed to fire it. And I think he was intentionally trying to 5-hole St. Clair here. And we were lucky that Dane St. Clair gets down, does take a deflection off, but does go through the wickets, squeaks through, and rolls over the line before Mike Boxall can sweep it out. And all of a sudden, we have a fucking lead right before the halftime whistle. And thank you for not blowing that dead early, Alexis De Silva.
A lot of great decisions by the ref last night. Let me say that. What a ball by Owen. Holy God. You know what I mean? I was making fun of myself earlier before the game with you, and I was talking about, how overreactionary we were coming back from Frisco and just feeling, well, it was deserving of you guys were fucking terrible, but
dude, Sunday you said it, and I'm glad you said it last night because I was gonna. That was one of our most whiny episodes I think we've ever had.
Yeah, we were whining really hard there, but like Owen back to being the best player in the league. Just kidding here. This play by Buka, man, again, see him in space. Good luck. Just good luck. You better get a good save on it, which I think St. Clair did pretty well with his positioning. He was in a good spot. And I do think Buka was trying to 5-hole him here. And there we go. You're up 1-0 at half. You have just pulled off the ultimate smash and grab in this first half versus the ultimate smash and grab team. Way to go. Just like, and you had been playing with them. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like you were getting dominated and just got super lucky. Brad's making incredible save after incredible save. You played with them that whole first half. They have a moment of let up. We kept playing. Mm-hmm. Huge.
And this was me all half.
Vocari!
Oh man. I mean, like you said, just the best ending to a half.
Yep.
We could, and that's got to be the latest goal we've ever scored in a first half. I guess maybe there's some where like we had 6 or 7 minutes of stoppage and maybe we've got one, but like, I don't know if we've ever scored a first half goal in stoppage time over the allotted time given. Like that felt unique to me. And that's where, of course, this is where you really start to get me to believe. I'm like, you see that half and you steal that goal at the end. I'm starting to think we could do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So coming out of the half, no subs for either side, but this is something that I had never seen before. And I've already seen it once since watching some of those qualifiers today across the pond while I was working. So the Loons kick the ball off straight out of bounds on purpose down in our corner because they want to set up their press. And that's when you saw it's right out of the break. It's like, okay, they have flipped the switch now that they're down 1-0, and we're going to see a little bit of a more aggressive Minnesota defensively. But again, I was just kind of surprised to see that. And apparently it's not that uncommon globally at the moment to kick the ball out of bounds if you're trying to press. And it makes sense to me. I was just kind of like, huh?
Yeah, no, you put us in a dangerous spot, and like they did not want to do this, y'all. They did not want to do this. I mean, there's a comment in the first half from the announcers who were talking about this game where it's like, Ramsey tells his guys that when you're on defense is when you get to relax.
Yeah.
Is when you rest, is when you get your rest period. Like, because we're just going to be sitting back, let these teams pass around. So them having to crank this up and come play a much more open game with us was not what they wanted to do. And this was not in the game plan because they didn't think they were going to be down 1-0 at halftime. There's no way.
50th minute here. Kolmanich and Triantis are sprinting towards a loose ball right there in front of the fourth official. Jean gets there first, and those guys collide, and it really seems like that should have been a foul. Again, especially right in front of the fourth official, but no dice there. And glad Jean came out looking like no worse for the wear, really. Maybe a little sore this morning from that collision, but 2 minutes later, Diaz curls a ball long, and I thought his passing too out of the back, 28 Diaz there was pretty darn good. He curls a long ball, trying to put it right into the path of Longwane, and Stuver comes out to the edge of the 18 to scoop it out, and that's very close to him handling it outside of the 18-yard box. We do get a replay of this, and Tony Meola reminded us, or maybe taught ZG for the first time, that being on the line counts as being in the box. So technically legal here by Stuver, but toeing the line.
I mean,
Literally.
it was very, very close. But yes, after further review was fine. And like, go back to Big Tex there getting fouled.
Hey, Big Tex. We're trying it out.
Trying it out. Again, I can't complain too much because, again, it was a physical match. They were not passing out these mustards and anything like that with any sort of routineness to it. So, like, totally fine with it. I thought Komenich could have got to that ball a little faster, but no issue.
I mean, that's not in Big Texas. I mean, that's not his attribute on the FIFA card. You're not waiting to see what the speed is when you uncover his FC 26 rating.
Big Tex likes to mosey.
Yeah. Hey, but you're right, man. It was a bang bang play. So 57th minute here. Loons starting to press even higher over the first 10 minutes coming out of the break. And Austin draws them all the way out to Stuver here. And Brad hits a line breaker right to Ilie just inside the Austin half. And Ilie, who was wearing the armband last night, touches it on to Wolf. And Owen picks his head up, plays Tex through there. Komenich, for those, we're picking up on this now. We play Jean through, and we got a 3-on-2 break. You got a Zuni running in the middle, Osman going to the far post, and Jean gets to the 18. He lofts it in the direction of Bukhari, and his volley is put into the ground and bounces up and over the crossbar. And I think it was the right choice based on what the defense gave him, but just not his best pass. Like lofted a bit too far and a little too much air under it. But we have certainly this season seen fast breaks end up with much worse results than that. At least we got a shot. But I do think, Jean probably wants that back. But again, you're threatening. And like you mentioned, right, you were able to continue to create chances even as we were taking on water at the back.
Absolutely. And I mean, this isn't a bad ball by any, it's not a bad ball.
It got to him.
Yeah, there's just a little too much air on this one. But again, threatening and like making them respect it a little bit because we had signaled from the start that we were going to be more defensive, going to have our players in that we thought would be able to possess the ball a little bit better, which we saw with our center backs that we rolled out there. Then you have this moment right before halftime where now you're riding super high, but you got to see this out for at least another 45 minutes here. And to be able to withstand Minnesota making this drastic change from how they wanted to play in the first half to this pressing style in the second half, and to be able to absorb it and then to still be able to hit them on this, because those three center backs are pushed up the field very, very high. They're involved in the offense, like you mentioned with Diaz. A lot of great passes last night. I thought he put in a really, really nice shift for that team. And obviously we know Boxel, who's in on corner set pieces all the time, the long throw guy. So like they were covering a lot of ground. It would have been great to make them pay fully for this, but you kept them on their toes here. Just be like, okay, don't get pushed too far up on us because we can hit you.
60th minute, you get a yellow card to Brendan Heinzike for pulling back Joaquin Pereira to stop a break. Professional foul. Also the exact same thing that Julio did in the first half to the same player. Yep. You do get the yellow card here, and in the next minute, Julian Gressel and Dominic Fitz in for Markinick and Triantis, which move Rosales over to that left back spot where I think that's his preferred side as Gressel slotted in on the right. 62nd minute, Austin able to clear out a Minnesota corner kick, and the Loons momentarily gain possession at the top of the area before Danny steps in to intercept a pass, and now we've got a 3-on-2 break again. And Danny keeps it at his feet, going over midfield centrally before sliding it out to Mirtu on the right. He's got Buka on his left. Danny gets absolutely trucked after he releases this pass. I thought there should have probably been a yellow card awarded on the next stoppage, but there wasn't. So Mirtu's got it at his feet. He takes one touch and then rips a shot, goes into the gloves of Dane St. Clair. But I thought after this play too, very notable and credit due to Danny for sprinting all the way back and winning the ball in the defensive third 20 seconds later. A similar play that we saw Jean Komenich do on the road against Sporting 2 weeks ago. And now Danny getting the credit here. It's just another aspect of his performance last night, which was off the charts.
I mean, Danny was a game wrecker last night. He was wrecking Minnesota's offensive game plan in that midfield. He was all over the place. He was physical. He was fast to the ball. Zero hesitation on what he wanted to do. And he just put an incredible shift last night. And like, if we didn't have him out there, man, this game goes differently because he played absolutely fantastic.
Let's just take a moment here just so I don't forget to fully contextualize his night. Most completed passes of the match, 105 out of 108 attempts.
Wow.
Most duels won, 10 of 14 duels won in this match. 12 recoveries. Was the most fouled player. So again, like, that's on the scout. Try to beat up Danny Pereira. And again, they kept his head at least enough to stay in this game, according to Alexis De Silva. One of his best games in an Austin uniform. Like, I would have to really sit here and go back through the high level Danny games over the last 4+ years, but it's up there, man, and it might be number one.
If you take into account the magnitude of the game as well, I think it propels it to his best game ever, because this was it for us. This is, like we said, this is a top 5 biggest game that we've had as a club ever, and he showed up and had arguably his best performance. So for me, this is the best game he's played since I've ever.
Yeah. 64th minute here. Diaz again, man, another curling ball in behind the defense, right? Like, he's just, that's got to be one of his go-tos there, because he's putting 2 right on the money here. This one falls right to the feet of Longwane, and luckily he touches it up and over the bar. I mean, he got onto this ball like 12 feet from net, and Julio and Matea are there applying pressure. But, I mean, this was super dangerous here. And again, I think a little bit of luck that some of these guys who, for Minnesota, who could have done better to put it on frame and challenge Brad, didn't. We also get, after that stoppage, you do get our first change, which is John Gallagher coming on for Mikael Dessler, which I know at first you were upset by. And then I was like, he's probably legitimately coming off some sort of soreness or injury. That's why we left him completely at home on Saturday. And coach did confirm that when he was asked in the post-game presser, was just like, it was a planned sub.
Okay. I mean, that's been the only thing that's really held Dessler back, is he's had some injuries in the past for us. Because when he's out there, I mean, we haven't talked about him yet, but again, so many things that he does are just so overlooked and just not appreciated. I mean, I think I said last night, I think he might be our overall best player in regard to both sides of the ball. But like, the things that he's able to do, he unleashes Buka so often. And okay, I was a little upset because I personally am of the camp that Dessler's one of our best players, if not the best player that we have on our team. And this is what I envisioned for Johnny. You're a backup fullback. We get you in. I would have appreciated more time for Dessler, but if he has legitimate injury concern and this was a planned sub, then I'm all for it. And Johnny came in and put in a good shift in his own right. So okay with that. They do hit the right side of the field pretty quickly in succession. Once Dessler came out, though.
Well, you were looking for it.
And
then they do, I think, 2 possessions in a row matriculate up that side. So we were having a good laugh at that. But in the 67th here, Danny gets whistled for a foul on a tackle just outside the 18. And again, here, like, he catches Joaquin. We got Pereira on Pereira violence here, catching Joaquin on the foot. And I think if he's not on a yellow, I think that would be one. And I think there was some restraint here shown by De Silva, whether it was correct or not. I mean, just another potential piece of luck in our favor, man. And so Brad sets up a 4-man wall here, and Joaquin Pereira is the one who lines up over it. A whistle blows, and he bends this around the outside end of the wall and into the back of the net. And I have seen a couple things this morning, on the rewatch of this shot that I wanted to bring up that we did not discuss last night. But let's start with what stood out to us last night when this went in. Is Brad asleep, dude?
Yeah.
Like, the very unstuve of him to he just barely doesn't react at all. Like, this was very savable. And I imagine he would want that back. But so let me just add one of these things in. Mirtu ducks a little bit, and he's on the outside of that wall. I still think this is curling around there, but you can't do that if you're scared of getting hit. Just don't face the ball. And I also see, with one of the rules that we've learned a couple weeks ago, Julian Gressel is absolutely within a yard of this wall and in an illegal position. So again, that is not called consistently.
Yeah.
I don't think that really affected the play, but something I noticed. So again, very un-Bradley here, and I'm really glad that the game turned out how it did, because this would have been a glaring error, I think, and it still is, but it will be forgotten to history.
Yes, of course. I mean, this was the only big mistake on the night, and this is absolutely it's a good shot. Let's start there. It's a very nice shot by Pereira. This is a great look. I didn't notice the Mirtu thing. I don't know, so I can't really comment on it too much. But like, even if that does happen, even if it didn't happen, Brad's got to do a better job. Like, this is a savable shot attempt. It was a good rip. I give him credit, but yeah, very confusing because like he just kind of gave up on it. And like he talked about like earlier in the first half where I think it was the another Pereira shot where he kind of like lunges, but like just looks. So just looking at this one, and it's like it wasn't like super close to the post there where you could have like, run into it, but like you might have to in this game, dude. Like we got to win this shit. You know what I mean? Like this was a big error, but again, it will be lost to history.
Yeah. Well, now we're level, and in the 71st minute, if this game wasn't chippy before, man, it goes up a level here because we get Diaz taking out Owen Wolf, and then Jean Kolmanich retaliates, taking out Dominic Fitz away from the ball. And that's where, again, the retaliation gets called. But, like, this was a flat-out miss by the officials with that first foul by Diaz because Owen gets up. He's bleeding from the face.
Yeah.
So, like, now I'm like, okay, man, like, you got to take control of this game now. And I imagine Nico was saying the same thing on the sideline because he picks up a yellow through all of that.
Yeah, that was pretty funny that Nico got him, but good on him. You know what I mean? Good on him. Like we had just gotten scored on here. Like you got to get these guys back into this game a little bit. And I know they were still locked in mentally, but to get that card and be like, yeah, I'm going to defend my guys is always okay with me. It's pretty much always going to be okay with me. And yeah, this ramped up the physicality and the chippiness for sure. And at this point, I was kind of just like, let's get to PKs and give Brad a chance to redeem himself entirely. And let's roll the dice with that. Because still, they are the more talented team. They are the deeper team. They had plenty of players on the bench who they were bringing in who are quality players. So I was definitely a little bit worried, but kudos to the guys, man. They kept fighting all the way through this, up to 120, all the way through it.
80th minute, Austin settled into possession in this moment, right around midfield with Minnesota once again sitting deep. And Owen drops back to the midline to get a touch, and then he takes a look up and launches one towards Osman, who's making a run right up the gut. And Buka brings it down, then takes a touch to lose his defender and kind of settle himself for a shot. Dane St. Clair able to deflect that shot up and over for a corner kick. And I thought in the moment and on the rewatch, he had a chance to play Mirtu there for a much easier shot, but I don't hate the decision to take your shot there. It's just got to be better placement. Like, I guess I should say, I certainly don't hate the decision as much as I think Mirtu did because he definitely wanted that ball, and I can't really fault him for it.
Yeah, that could have been better. Still a threatening shot. And again, long balls over the top to Buka. I was just looking at Owen, 7 of 8 accurate long balls last night, just putting these things, just dropping them in there.
On a platter.
Baby fart.
83rd minute, you get a double change here. Biru and Sabovic come in for Ilie and Kolmanich. I don't know if you noticed this live, E, but the armband went to Julio Cascante after that. And then on the other side, Mo Duggan comes in for Romero and Owen Jen comes in for Will Trapp. So Minnesota out of their 5 subs here in regulation. Austin still with 2. 3 minutes given once again here in the second half. And in the first minute of stoppage, you get Joaquin Pereira with a late challenge on Biru. Once again, not just right in front of the fourth, but the head official is also right there. And I thought this should have been a yellow. And Nico looked like he was arguing the same, albeit not as demonstrative as he was 10 minutes earlier before he got the yellow. But, I mean, that was it, man. There wasn't much going on in stoppage, and we go to the extra 30 minutes.
Man, I'm just happy to be there. You know what I mean? And I think everyone on that team on the Austin side knew what was presented in front of them right there like that. And I still felt like you had them at least off their game. Like they were not on exactly what they wanted to do. They did get this late goal, but still they weren't playing their style and they just were a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think you'll see some of that come up in the stats as well, where like
Yeah.
They were not being able to play their game throughout the night. And no matter what the score was, where it was 0-0 or we were up 1 or after they equalized, the longer this game went without a lead for the home team, the more this leaned in our favor. And so
Absolutely.
in the extra 30 minutes here, which I don't know what the fuck's up with Paramount, but they did not have, at least when I did the rewatch this morning, the extra time period. So we're relying on just the highlights and the old noggin here for the final 30 minutes. In the 94th minute, it was Guilherme Biru, MLS All-Star Guilherme Biru, that is, getting some space on the left side. And almost an identical play from the Kolmanic service in the first half. Biru puts in a cross towards that near post, is met by Amirtu Azuni adjusting his run across the face of his defender. And this time he pokes it on frame, but unfortunately St. Clair is there for the save. And that shot is 99 times out of 100 being saved by a guy like Dane St. Clair. But I like the action, and it was good to see that even in those small moments, Mirtu still had enough gas to make that burst to meet a ball in there like that. And again, I thought coming out of that break into this first 15 minutes of extra time, Austin were the aggressors. Like, we looked confident. And like you said, kind of just to your point, like Minnesota looked a little bit shaken and frustrated.
They were just a little bit off of their game. And yes, to Mirtu's credit, I think, he doesn't show up on the stat sheet here or anything, but he played hard. I think we went with CJ and Mirtu. So yes, he went a full 120. So super credit to him, man. I just wanted to pull up the possession stats for this team again. 38.9% for them on the season. Last night they ended up at 47. So this was not how they wanted to play this game. It just wasn't.
Yep.
And you learned a lesson because this team that I was right above Minnesota is Dallas, and they play a very similar style.
Yep.
They're not as good, but they play a very similar style.
But still,
you might have taken some notes, and if we had to take that lumping in Dallas to get this, it was worth it.
So we do exhaust our subs here before the end of the first 15. In the 97th, you get Diego Rubio in for Osman Bukhari, and then in the 104th, CJ and Svatok come in for Owen and Djordjevic. Owen's just completely gassed at this point. Looked like he was maybe cramping up a little bit. And Djordjevic, man, I think we got something there.
I agree. 2 games now for sure. I don't want to get too far ahead of my skis here, but he can play. He does not. I mean, look at some of the other younger center backs we've had suit up for this team and what has happened and the disasters that have taken place.
I'm pretty sure he's right around the same age as what Kip Keller was when he was starting for us.
You definitely got something. I was a little bummed about the Owen substitution because I felt like we were going to PKs. I did not expect a goal for us, for either team, because the fatigue, the way that we were kind of playing to a stalemate with a lot of this stuff. So I was a little like, shit, I'd like to see Owen for the PKs, but fine.
Boy, you are never going to cheer the best player in the league coming off the pitch for us.
For sure. Never.
So in that second 15, I mean, there is some major action here as we get close to the final whistle. 117th minute, Bongi Hlongwane is played in behind the Austin back line right at midfield by Dominic Fitz. He looked well offside watching it live, but then you see the replay. I think he's barely onside here. Not, again, like terrible angles here to try to judge an offside call, but Bongi has a step on everybody, and so it's just him against Stuver here. And I guess credit to Julio, who does do a good job of at least getting back into the proximity of Bongi to make back the attempt and also prevent a cutback. But Brad ultimately here makes a huge save. And in the moment, we were saying that's a great sign to wake him up before this shootout that we're going to have to do.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Absolutely. Speaking of bad angles, this is a poor angle by Svatok to try to get, you're late on this offsides trap and you're trying to do it against a dude who's really fucking fast. Yeah. And he should have continued running with him. He's definitely onside in my book. And I'm glad you brought up Julio here. He at least made his presence felt in that moment. Did he contribute to the stop? Maybe, maybe not. But he definitely made his presence felt. He made Hlongwane at least think about the fact that there was a guy behind him trying to get up on the display. And there you go, Brad. Way to redeem yourself, bro. And excellent save. Excellent save here.
In the dying moments of this second 15 minutes, Austin has the ball near the midfield line. Loons in their block. Not the most set they've been all night, but not exactly disorganized either. Diego Rubio receives a pass with some space into that Minnesota half, and he's able to change the field all the way to the right side where John Gallagher has got behind Joseph Rosales, and John chests it down, and then as he nears the end line, he pops that ball up towards the penalty spot where Mirtu Izuni, free header here. Yep. And even though this gets saved by Dane St. Clair, who paws it away, I thought it was, from what you and I have been told about what you're coached on with these headers, he bangs it down into the ground, makes it tougher for St. Clair. And to Mirtu's credit, I think the fact that he executed that header fairly well kept Dane St. Clair from being able to catch the ball. He paws it away right back in front of net, where CJ Faudre is there to slam it back into the ground with his left. St. Clair can't locate it, and it trickles into the net for the fucking game winner. Pandemonium everywhere. Wherever there was a Verde and Black fan watching this game, you're waking up your significant others. You're making your dogs bark. You might have pissed the neighbors off. I mean, one of, if not the biggest goal in club history. And it's fucking CJ again.
Unreal. That storybook. It's incredible. And I'm glad you brought up the header with Mirtu, because yes, he does this so well that if St. Clair tries to catch this ball, which he could have, his momentum would have carried him into the net. So he had to paw this back out into a super dangerous spot. I think it's Boxall right there, just fucking ball watching, which is just so much better. And again, being on the forums and everything and seeing the Minnesota players or Minnesota fans be like, is it good defense to just stand there with your hands on the hip with the game on the line? And it's fucking Mike Boxall. Incredible. CJ, once again, the same things we talk about with CJ that we have talked about since the beginning, when he wasn't getting the stats, the goals, the accolades for those things are still ring true. He comes in, he plays fucking hard no matter what. He comes in, he runs fucking hard no matter what. He comes in, he plays physical no matter what. And a game where you're now in the 120th minute, that is huge. So just fantastic for him to get this goal and to be the one to send us to our biggest game of the year, which we must preface with, we haven't done shit yet, y'all. Nobody's going to remember Austin losing in the U.S. Open Cup if we don't get the job done. So, yes, you pop your champagne bottles. We got 2 weeks to celebrate this, but then you sober up, you get ready for October 1st, and you got to finish the job.
53% possession at the end of this one for Austin FC. It was 22 shots to 13 in favor of the Loons, but on target 6-5 for Austin FC. So like I was saying earlier, the quality chances, I think, were with Austin. Austin did create 2 big chances, converted on both. No big chances for Minnesota. So another stat to highlight how good the defense was last night at limiting their opportunities. 6 corners to 2 in favor of the Loons. Huge shout out to the guys who went the full 120. Mirtu Izuni, Danny Pereira, Brendan Heinzai, Captain Julio Cascante, and of course, Bradley Scott Stuver. I had this in my notes as well, man. Haven't done anything yet. You still got to finish with one more win to fully stamp. Because again, will everybody in the Austin FC universe remember this run no matter what happens 2 weeks from now? Of course.
Yep.
But that's not what that's not the goal.
No.
The goal here is put our name into the history books.
Mm-hmm.
The longest running tournament in North America. Not only would bring you your first quote-unquote real trophy, but also gets you back into CONCACAF Champions Cup next year, where we got revenge on Hanny in 2 weeks.
Yep.
For Seba. And then we're coming back and getting revenge on Violette, where I don't think they're going to be there, but give us another little Caribbean team, and we'll do the job right this time.
That's right. Absolving all sins. Good Lord. Yeah, I mean, again, and to highlight the fact that I do think luck required, you still were the better team last night.
Sure. Yeah, I agree.
I think, yes, we were fortunate. We got some good calls. You had some fortunate bounces. You had some poor shot attempts by the Minnesota players. But I think overall, you were the better team last night, and you deserved 3 points from that game, and their only goal came off of a set piece. Are they very good at that? Yes. It was not in the open. It was not an open play though. So like this was a game that I think you deserved to win. You beat them at their own game. You made them possess the ball a little more than they wanted to. You made them change their entire philosophy in a second half of a knockout game to come out and try to figure out a way to break us down on the back line and everything like that. So you deserve this game. A lot of guys played absolutely fantastic. Can't look at one person who started or came into that game last night and was like, not a good shift for you. Everyone contributed. It was fantastic to see, man. Again, 6 shots on target, like you said, to 5. That's an important figure for me because, yes, were we outshot? Definitely. But I think when you look at the overall scope of this game, Austin was more threatening. The game plan worked, and you tested St. Clair. You made him make some saves. He did. But when it came down to it, he wasn't able to.
Now I want to direct this just brief talk at our buddies, the Pirates, and especially Brian.
Okay.
Number one, actually, everybody, tomorrow, Friday, September 19th, I believe, is National Talk Like a Pirate Day. So shout out to the Pirates. Yar.
Yar.
And guess what? I'm thinking back to the El Paso match at halftime when these fuckers were down 2-0 to a USL side, and we booed them.
Yep.
And look where we are now.
Oh, my God.
They didn't forget the booze.
Oh,
They didn't forget.
I thought you were going the other way.
No. We're taking credit for the booze.
Yeah.
We're taking credit for this run, E.
Yeah.
And now we're back at the queue for the fucking title game.
Yeah, fuck you, Brian, you positive motherfucker.
Per the comms team, this Open Cup run has included 4 goals from a losing position. The latest and second latest goals in club history, right? Mirtu Azuni's PK against San Jose was the latest goal in club history until CJ's game winner last night. Of course, we also had the club's second ever PK shootout, which was our second ever PK shootout win. And we are going to the championship game, or rather hosting the championship game after back-to-back road wins. Some comments from Coach after the match. 2 that stuck out to me. He got asked kind of about his celebration. I don't know, E, if you saw the pictures of him, right after the final whistle, but like the most excited and joyful that I think any of us have ever seen him, at least while he's been here in Austin. And he said, quote, "I deserve also those moments," when asked about that.
Oh.
And he's absolutely right.
That's a great little quote there.
Yeah.
He does deserve those moments. Fuck yeah. Good for you, Coach. I was outside smoking the victory blunt, so I missed all of this. That's a great quote. Well said.
And then he did joke when talking about, he's asked about, what have you seen in CJ? What have you guys been talking about? He talked about how, like, they had meetings after Brandon went down where it's like, we're going to need you even more than we already do now, and stick with it. The things that he's been telling him all year. But then I think he opened that discussion with a joke. He said, well, I'm just a genius, Man, I don't know, man. If you don't appreciate Nico, and especially just the stark difference in that side of things, in wins and losses from what we were used to, right? Like, I don't know if I can help you. I'm certainly not making the case that Nico is like Coach of the Year or anything like that. But I think he has done well. I think I fully agree with what Roto's assessment was a few weeks back at his press conference, where it was like, I feel good. It could be better. It could be worse. And now there's no way we're feeling worse now after the last couple of weeks. Now here hosting the championship game.
Absolutely. And now you have, the flack that we take as a fan base, right? We're loud. We talk a lot. We have great fans, yada, yada, yada. Everyone always goes, well, what's in your trophy case? Well, what's in your, what have you won? You know what I mean? Someone has to win the first one. It has to, you don't just get it. It just says some club was formed back in 1912 when Will Bruin was 8. Doesn't mean
still drinking Coronas though.
Doesn't mean that you don't have to get that first one. So you have an opportunity before you to etch your name in history, to go down as what are they? The River Bats, the Ice Bats?
Oh, Austin Ice Bats, man.
Did they win? Did they ever win anything?
I don't know, dude. We were minor league hockey. And I was like 6.
That's all you guys had. But you have a chance here, man, an opportunity to stamp your name on something that will be here long after you're gone. And that is what you play for, man. So I'm so proud of these guys. What an incredible Open Cup run this has been, with some of the highest highs and some of the lowest lows. Like we said, that first half versus El Paso might have been the lowest we've ever been on this team, outside of maybe
I never booed him.
Yeah, correct. Same. So, like, this has been an incredible, magical run. And now to get this game at home, yes.
And, man, I think that this should be a sellout. Looking at the Minnesota crowd and the Nashville crowd last night, like, maybe it won't be. But for me, at least, and I would hope that all the North End listeners would follow suit, I think we should be telling friends, family, co-workers, anybody who will listen to you, be at, this is the game to be at.
Yeah.
If you've never been, if you were a fan the first few years and you've fallen off, as we have become more of a mediocre to, a bad team over the last 2 years, missing the playoffs, like, pack it out, man. Like, we've already been calling around to all of our friends. Are you using all your tickets? Are you guys using all your tickets? Where can we, calling our ticket rep? Can you get us more tickets in our area to bring more people to this game?
Be there. Fucking be there. It's a Wednesday.
You literally might not get another chance to host a final at Q2 for the rest of your life.
Yep.
That is well within the range of possibilities.
100%. So this is going to be, I absolutely think we're going to have more than Minnesota and Nashville, or whoever the fuck. Was it in Columbus? Was it in Nashville? It was in Philly.
The game the other night was in Nashville. Yeah.
Oh, it was in Nashville. Okay. But I still think we're going to have more turnout than those teams have. But this should still be even a little bigger because of the things that you mentioned right there. And, like, I don't even know what would have to happen to keep me away from this game, but I don't want to think about it.
Yeah. Anything else for you on this one, man?
Shout out to the fans again, man. Way to show out, and we should have got more representation on the broadcast, but you guys brought it, and you guys were fantastic.
Let's get a little transition here. We got a 2-0 loss. Ooh. I don't think we're getting it done. Prove me wrong, boys. Prove me wrong, boys.
Prove me wrong, boys.
My face.
All right, E. Let's talk about Seattle here. Actually, this is for the YouTube viewers. I forgot to pull this up while we were talking. Speaking of fans, get on Instagram last night. Los Verdes put up a 5-minute live stream, and we see our boy Aggie's just fucking shirtless on the stream. Look at having the time of his life.
Oh my God.
Oh, we love you, Aggie.
Let's go.
All right, Seattle Sounders coming to town Sunday night soccer with Apple TV coming to Q2 Stadium this Sunday night. All-time head-to-head between us and the Sounders. Just 1 win, 3 draws, and 5 losses. The only win was in May 2023. That was a 2-1 road win behind goals from both Giassi Zardes and partnerships executive Ethan Finley. In the 4 games at Q2, historically, Austin has 1 draw and 3 losses. Although we've been very upset about certain calls in those games before, Drew Fisher. But also, 2021, dude, the teenager / Raul Ruidiaz game. That was a nightmare.
Yep.
And, the Drew Fisher, Rigoni goal, nightmare.
Yep.
So just, again, this is another opportunity here. We failed on the first one. Get your first win in Frisco. Succeeded on the second. Advanced to the Open Cup final. Let's go 2 out of 3 here. Get our first home win against the Sounders. You got anything off the top for these guys? Because we're kind of tag teaming this preview here coming off last night.
I mean, I'm gonna be focusing on us right now, I think, because the high of what just happened last night, and then having to come back down to earth a little bit here and realize that we're still have a season left to play. And again, you've won nothing at this point in time. You've still won nothing. So, and then the quality of this opponent, man, I mean, we're looking at this roster before we jumped on here, and just top to bottom, just so much talent. I mean, I forgot they had Jesus Ferreira, who for years literally was in my nightmares before we played fucking Dallas, and just like loaded up and down the field. The Roldan brothers are two of my favorite players in the league, like just consummate professionals. And yeah, this is one of the premier franchises in MLS. It really is. Obviously, coming off the Leagues Cup win where you smash Miami and win that trophy there.
Yeah.
You were doing a little subterfuge. I'll let you get into that about like maybe some hangovers with that trophy win and everything like that. But like up and down, you got Masovsky, Paul Rothrock, Obed Vargas, Pedro de la Vega doesn't even get mentioned. We thought he was the man.
We loved him coming in
last year. And like he on the list of names for this team now, he's not brought up as much as these other guys. I think I said Musovsky with 17 goal contributions, 14 goals. They have 2 double-digit goal scorers, Albert Rusnak with 10. So they have guys up and down the field. We've seen a bunch of these younger guys that we talked about with the Tacoma Defiance team getting called up. De Rosario, I believe, and that Manangai guy, he's pretty good. So this is a really good team, man. You're gonna have your hands full here. You really are.
Yeah, and I think just piggybacking off what you said about them being one of the premier teams in the league here, Galaxy fans would, of course, bitch, moan, and complain that they have the most MLS Cups, but Seattle with the Leagues Cup win, man, becomes the first MLS club to win every available trophy to MLS teams with MLS Cup, Open Cup, Leagues Cup, CONCACAF Champions League.
Wow.
Yeah, and and to get Leagues Cup and CONCACAF in the last two calendar years, I think. This is a very, very talented club, right? We already saw him once this season. We saw him at Lumen Field back in late June. That was a 2-0 loss. Our offense was not as toothless as I had remembered. However, Seattle, they absolutely deserved to win that game. Austin did out XG Seattle in that one, 1.31 to 1.19 on FOTMob's model. But here again, expected goals on target. 0.13 for Austin. 2.36 for Seattle. So like I said, Sounders definitely deserve to win that game. But we did generate some shots. We did generate 2 big chances, obviously missed both of those. So going into the subterfuge here, E.
Okay.
Listening to like Rave Green and Lobbing Scorchers. Look, Lobbing Scorchers has a live stream scheduled for tonight. The title is, Are the Sounders Hungover? So like there, and again, I know that I said we sometimes together complain about some of these other fan bases, like an LAFC, like you lose one game, fire the coach, and like this guy needs to get sold, yada yada. And like these guys coming off a fucking Leagues Cup win, coming off a Club World Cup in the summer where they showed out, like fucking relax, guys. Like you drop points at home to the Galaxy the match after you win the final. Okay. Then last night Tuesday, you go to Miami, you rotate, and Miami has all the incentive in the world to come out there and beat your ass. And it's 3-1. And these guys are flipping out, dude. They're talking about, and this actually may be a conversation that's well worth having for them, that some of those fans are saying that Andrew Thomas should be starting over Stephen Fry full time now. And I believe Thomas did get the call for their entire Leagues Cup run. And we've seen him in a match before starting in net for them. And he's always been solid as a backup. But Stephen Fry, I feel like club legend status here. But look, man, soccer fans, it doesn't matter. What have you done for me the last 2 weeks? Not good? Okay, well, we're moving on. I mean, it'll be interesting to see who starts in net.
And a good problem to have. Neither of those guys I'm lining up great, it's going to be this guy. And a team that's completely different from this Minnesota team and how Minnesota plays.
Sure.
Top 5 in possession.
Yep.
I think top 5 in passes per game. They like to control the ball. They matriculate it up the field. So this is a completely different matchup than what we saw. So I do not anticipate Austin rolling out any sort of that 5-back look versus this team, because it just doesn't make a lot of sense to do that versus this club. They're super good, man. I mean, they generate a ton of big chances, 89 of them to be exact. Mooch is upset about something here. So it's going to be a very interesting juxtaposition between coming down off of this emotional high to get ready for this team that is also better than us on paper and in the table as well, and dealing with the stark contrast in style between these two teams.
Yeah, and you mentioned, right, Danny Musovsky, all of a sudden with the 14 goals that you talked about, 17 contributions, second only to Rusnak's. You mentioned Rusnak's 10 goals. He's also got 8 assists in his 25 appearances. Ferreira, 4 goals, 6 assists in his 27 appearances. Rothrock, 3 and 7. Christian Roldan, who was rested on Tuesday. Roldan, a goal and 8 assists. Then, Jordan Morris just returned from injury. He played 30 minutes off the bench against Miami on Tuesday. Ryan Kent, Pedro de la Vega, and Joao Paulo are all either nursing or returning from injury here. I don't think we should be shocked if all 3 of those guys are available in some capacity here this weekend. But I would certainly look, guys, if you want to take an extra week to get right, go right ahead.
Yeah.
Because, there's very few names on this first team roster for Seattle where you're like, oh, well, if they play advantage us, it's very hard to pick and choose some guys like that on this roster. We can, take a look at that roster profile. Again, these are from May, but man, also keep in mind that Seattle technically is playing with a stacked deck here this year. Because if you knew and forgot, or if you didn't know, being part of the Club World Cup this year, MLS gifted those teams an additional $750K in GAM and allowed them to pull up to $1.25 million in GAM from next year's coffers for this year's team. So, and this is a 3-3 build. They don't have any U22s apparently, which is interesting because, again, with how good this team is, the fact that they could be even more dangerous going out and getting some transfers. Again, this is a club that I think for 4, maybe 5 straight years has not made a signing in the summer transfer window, which to me doesn't point to a lack of ambition. You look at their results, this team is just ready to go if they finish the primary transfer window. You mentioned 5th in possession per game in the league, 53.7. But all these top 10 and top 8 numbers, 8th in goals per match, 1.8 a game, 6th in expected goals, 7th in shots on target, 5th in big chances, 6th in accurate passes, 4th in accurate crosses, 4th in touches in the opposing penalty area, 5th in corner kicks. So they're coming at you, and they're going to be in your 3rd.
Yep, and they are accurate with these balls. They are very, very controlled. Like I said, they matriculate very well. And I mean, if you're looking at some kind of weakness, right? I think their back line is prone to taking some pretty questionable fouls. How many times have we been looking at a Seattle game and it's like, Bell suspended. Nuhu suspended. Yeah. And then it's happened multiple times. I'm looking at it right now. 20th in fouls per match, 28th in yellow cards, but 2nd in red cards. Now, obviously, I'm not banking on some sort of egregious foul to get somebody sent off, but if you are looking for some holes to point at with this team, that back line does take some risky attempts and will foul you to be shown discipline. But I mean, we haven't even talked about Jackson Reagan, who's a very good player. Seattle Shrek, big physical player that they deploy in set pieces up in there in the box, but also rely on heavily on their back line, kind of anchors everything for them, man. There's a really good fucking team.
4 of those fucking red cards might have been Nuhu. Dude, he's fucking he's wild.
Yeah.
Guilherme is like Brazilian Nuhu, basically. Those guys are very similar players with their play and their demeanor. You mentioned the fouls, right? Also 6th best in expected goals conceded, 4th in possession won in the final third. So not only are they going to be in and around your penalty area, they're going to be on your ass if they turn it over as well. Coach Schmetzer said post-match that they have no, quote, normal starting 11, and that he has a very deep squad and he'll put together the strongest possible lineup for Sunday night, which is as expected, man. I think we will see close to a first choice lineup here for them because to me, they got their rotation and their rest in Miami on Tuesday.
Yeah, and you definitely want to start flipping the script here a little bit. You have sunk to 5th place. I mean, they were steadily holding that 4. Obviously, LAFC had some games in hand of them. I mean, speaking of red cards, Reed Baker-Whiting got one in the first game versus Austin. He got thrown out in like the 90th
at the very
minute.
end. Yeah.
So again, I don't want to put too much emphasis on that, but I mean, Schmetzer, I think probably the best coach in the league. It's a short list.
I think Nancy still gets the call for me, but Schmetzer's probably 2.
Yep, he's right up there. So he's going to have this team ready, and he has a ton of players at his disposal that they can really move around. They can get creative with how they want to attack us. It's going to be a tough game, man. It's going to be a tough match.
Dude, there's been 2 different seasons since we've been paying attention to this league so closely. 2 different seasons where I've gone to Sounders message boards and seen people saying fire Schmetzer. It's just in there's like 2 weeks we lose twice. Like he's got to be gone.
Yeah, all right. Do it then.
We'll take him.
Yeah, go ahead. No, get him out of the league.
So, like, finishing up on us here.
Mm-hmm.
Seattle fans talking about, are we in this hangover period after Leagues Cup? Do you think there could be one for us after the emotions of Wednesday night?
Yes, I do. I very much feel like it's a trap, and I understand that we haven't won anything yet. That needs to be. I mean, like I hope the plane ride home. From the looks of it on Instagram, it looked fantastic. It looked like a wonderful time. But again, you have not won anything yet. Yeah. But the emotional letdown is going to be a real thing. So you're going to have to dig a little deep here to really be on your P's and Q's to start this game. I anticipate a much different starting lineup than we saw in that matchup. So you guys are going to have to be ready. And hopefully, I do think one of the benefits, again, I'm going to point to the fan base and the crowds and people who show up in an emotional letdown game like this potential. If you come into a dead stadium after this super high that you just experienced at Minnesota, it can creep in a little bit more. Do I think that a professional athlete should be able to overcome these things? Yes, but there's also human nature involved here. Mm-hmm. So I do think coming back home for this game helps us out a lot because this Seattle team is very good, but this game is the Minnesota game is over now. It's in the past. We got to move on because this is a huge game in regard to the positioning on this table here. You win this game, you're only a point behind them.
Yep. And that's where, like, look, man,
if you
got some bulletin board material from us after Sunday's episode, you're welcome.
Yeah.
But you ain't getting that from us today. I will tell you that multiple Seattle fan podcasts called this game a guaranteed win. So
dangerous.
if you're looking for some of that, go. I'll give you the links, Nico. Hit me up. DMs are open, brother. And look, man, like you just said, we are even on games played now. You win this one, you're a point back of Seattle with 4 to play. And just look, after listening to that shit today, man, I want to win to knock these fucks off their high horse. Mm-hmm. You think this is a guaranteed win? You have not been watching Austin FC. I'm not saying we're some fucking giant killer here, but we've been playing just fine over the last 2 months.
We're 4 points behind y'all. Like we've been fine.
We're fucking right there.
We're right there with you guys. So like again, I will absolutely concede and say they are the better team on paper. It absolutely is true. We are still right with you. And like, if you haven't been watching it, obviously they don't watch it like us. Obviously, like nobody else does outside of Austin. Right. But this is a gritty Austin FC team that has found ways to stay afloat in the Open Cup and in this playoff race as well. And I think, like hopefully Dessler, fine, ready to go. This is a bit of a quick turnaround for him, but hopefully he's good. The planned sub makes me think that he hit his threshold and now he's going to be reevaluated with the intention that he's going to be ready for this game and good to go. Biru should be relatively fresh for what he put in last night. Svatok as well. I think, with Mirtu, you might want to be a little cautious after that 120. Danny, you might see some rotation here with some Dubersarski action. I can't be too upset at that. We did, you did shoot your shot this last game here. So there's going to be some rotation, but again, I think you have enough to squeak one out here. I really do. It's going to take some more luck. We're going to need a little bit more luck. Sure. I think you're going to need a better Brad game because it's going to be tough to keep this team off the scoreboard. Yeah. But you can look, man, you beat this team. You're making a little bit of noise here in this Western Conference. They finished the season with Vancouver at home, at Portland. I'm reading this backwards. Whatever. They got Vancouver, Portland, RSL, NYCFC. So like a huge rival in Portland, a Vancouver team that's very good. Salt Lake, who's been playing, a tough. Well, they haven't been playing great lately, but they're still a tough.
They have a lot more talent now than they did when we saw them back in May.
Yes, they do.
RSL, that is.
Yep. And then NYCFC to close out this season. So like I don't think they're not going to be happy if they fall into the 5-6 range. They're really not.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and I don't know, man. And just thinking about us, one thing I would like to see, not that I'm expecting it against a team like the Sounders, 9 games now, no clean sheets.
Mhm.
So, like, I think we can, and especially think about who the last 9 games have been against, absent yesterday. It's all been teams where, like, we probably should have got at least 1 clean sheet in that run.
Yeah. I mean, we have to take into account the incredible surgence of terrible penalty kick calls that,
Sure,
like I said, I was screwing Brad. Like the Galaxy should have been a shutout for sure. There was another one, right? I can't remember, but still, those penalty kick calls really did fuck that up. This will be a hard game to get a clean sheet, to your point.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. Like, after last night's performance, I think it's tough for me to say, like, here's what I feel confident in terms of projecting a lineup. I do not think we'll see Dessler for more than like 60, 70 again.
I agree.
I don't think you're going to push him. I don't think you're going to push Ilie 90.
Nope.
So I'm ready for almost anything, including heavy rotation here.
Mm-hmm.
Because look, man, I still think we're going to make the playoffs, and you can still absolutely make a push for the playoffs while also resting, rotating, what have you, focusing on this championship game coming up. Because we have 2 league games before then, a full 3 after that, and 2 of those are at home. One against St. Louis, who has absolutely nothing to play for right now, and then LAFC in the international break, which we know we're going to miss some guys, but Bouanga and Son should also be gone for LAFC. So that if that happens, I don't care who we're missing. That's a very winnable match if you're down to Ordaz and fucking Tillman and whoever else they're going to run out there in LA, man. So I don't know, man. You have any specific things you want to see in the lineup, things you don't want to see? If you don't, we can go ahead and predict this game score.
It's hard for me to say something I want or something I don't want, because I do think that everything is on the table here. You might punt this game. That you really might. Just given what we had to do to these guys' bodies last night in regard to the amount of time they had to play. So nothing from me there. So I'm down to get into the score predictions. And with all that in play, I'm going to go 1-1 draw. And I'd be super happy with that. Context required, of course, but I'll say a 1-1 draw. And that would be a big point for us versus a good team coming with the context of coming off of this emotional roller coaster from the Open Cup.
Yeah. I have a 2-2 draw, so we're both a little tepid there with the predictions, but I will break from you. I will not be happy with a draw. I'll take it, but like let's beat these fuckers at home. I think we have enough talent on this team. Look, you might get your chance here to get an extended run. Hot Air Obrian, Robert Taylor, who were left home and proven right, Nico, by taking CJ over those guys. Does CJ get his first start if you're resting Mirtu, who played 2 hours? I would not hate that either. You talk about good form.
Yeah, and a good opportunity to do it. This is a good opportunity to pull the trigger on that. With Mirtu coming off 120, obviously CJ at the highest point of his career right now. This is a good opportunity. Yeah,
so, man, I'm 1-1 draw for you, 2-2 draw for me. But I'm excited for this one, man. I think we see something that we haven't seen before.
Cool.
Come on down to Farmer Field where the champions play. Get ready for the game. It's last business day.
Last business day here on episode 257 of the North End Podcast. And as we get into this, I have eyed our little clock here, and good God, we've been talking for a while.
Yeah.
St. Louis City 2 coming to town this week, and as we know, this is not just the first place team by a wide margin in the Western Conference. This is also the Shield leaders in MLS Next Pro. St. Louis City to 57 points from their 25 games, almost as many goals as points. 56 goals scored, 33 conceded. some of the names, which if you are a Last Business Day fan, will be familiar to you. Number 59, Mikey Joyner, first team off-roster homegrown, has 14 goals and 3 assists. So he's got the Danny Musovski stat line there in 17 appearances. So Mikey Joyner, certainly somebody to watch. In the last time we saw these guys, Mikey Joyner had a brace in the first half hour. So definitely somebody you need to watch. We know the dreaded Brendan McSorley wearing number 80 there, 8 goals, 8 assists in his 23 appearances. I know he was called up and playing for their first team 2 weeks ago when they faced off against Dallas in that match where they got 42 shots and only 1 goal. McSorley had like a little half bicycle kick near the end of that one that almost gave them the winner. So I'm kind of hoping McSorley is up with their first team again this weekend. Then super draft pick, number 16, Emil Jääskeläinen, another forward there, 6 goals, 7 assists in his 23 appearances. 2 other names, a homegrown supplemental, number 46, Caden Glover, 22 appearances with their second team, 3 goals, no assists. And then defensive midfielder, number 28, Miguel Perez, 8 goals, 3 assists in 24 appearances. Unsurprisingly, right, the stats look great for this team. 4th in goals per game, 6th in goals conceded per game. So the stats backing up their results there. 2nd in big chances, 1st in accurate crosses, 3rd in interceptions, 3rd in successful tackles. Also very physical, 3rd in fouls per match. So obviously this is a huge test for Austin FC 2. And shout out to Sporting KC 2, the lone terrible team here in the Western Conference. They get not only a draw against North Texas, but they steal the extra point in the shootout. So Austin FC 2 has done enough here with 3 matches to play to be holding on to the 8th and final playoff spot as things stand. We are tied on points with Ventura County and Minnesota United too, but behind on wins and behind on that goal differential tiebreaker, but neither of those tiebreakers are out of reach for Austin. So still an opportunity to climb this table over the last few weeks of the season. But man, it is not an easy road. We know it is St. Louis here, number 1 team this week. Then it's Portland Timbers 2, who is the easiest game left on the schedule, because then you close out with the Town, who is in 2nd place in the Western Conference. So if there was ever a time to get a result here at home, I think the minimum you can get away from this game with and feel good is that 2 points, getting that extra point in a potential shootout situation here. And like, we've done it before with this team already, dude. March 30th, we played the away leg of this series. Kind of weird, right? We get 3 against St. Louis, 1 against Tacoma. So I don't know what's up with the scheduling there. Maybe it has to do with there's actually 4 divisions in Next Pro, but they give us the standings here by conference. But on March 30th, we played at St. Louis in the big stadium there. 0-0 draw. You did drop the extra point in the shootout, but you've already played this team to a draw at their house. So like, they're coming to Parmer. Look, that little golf course is open out there now. So tomorrow night on Friday, man, take your family, your friends out to the pitch, support these guys. This is a huge game in the playoff race. We should have Grogan and Bonachera back, coming back from the red cards, right? I don't know if either guy, again, I until I see it, I don't think we're going to see Peter Grogan start the rest of the season. Maybe in the playoffs if we get there. But look, we control our own destiny at the moment with 3 games left, and that is a good place to be. Yep.
I mean, you got your work cut out for you here. That is for sure. But 2 teams that should have different levels of hunger right now. If you're Austin FC, you're fighting, scrapping, crawling to stay in this playoff picture. You look at St. Louis City 2, 11 points on the field. So maybe they're taking their foot off the gas a little bit, and you have an opportunity here. But if you want to make the playoffs, like you said, you need at least 2 points here. It's a tall and a tough task, but if you want extra soccer, you're going to have to get the job done. So we're going to have to find a way here. I also don't see Grogan getting any starting minutes here. You're jeopardizing your team too often with what you're doing. That you're just it's the long and the short of it. But we have seen some good run of form from guys like Micah as of late. Irvin, of course, confidence building. We're not going to see CJ back down here, I think, ever again at this point. So
he might have broken that seal.
Yeah, it might be over for the Next Pro guy for him at Next Pro. But you got enough talent. Like you said, you got enough talent out here to get this job done. You got to get to it. You have to.
When their first team is on the road on Saturday taking on the Quakes, again, nothing to play for. Maybe they call some of those homegrown guys up.
Yeah.
Maybe McSorley's up there again, and we would certainly take that. Only one thing left to do here, E. How much is Austin FC2 winning by on Friday night?
I'll take one classic, the 1-0. The old Austin FC classic combo.
There you go. I'm going to go 1-1 draw here, but PK shootout win. And that's with either Charlie or Marcus in net, because I think both guys have been playing pretty well of late. So a 1-0 win for E, 1-1 draw, and a PK shootout, additional point for me. Don't care how you get it done, boys. We just need 3 points at home. And now, E, we turn to a quick Academy update. Once again, shout out to the club for putting this type of stuff out. U14s last weekend. It was the home derby hosting the Houston Dynamo U14s, and ultimately our boys fell short 2-0, but it is a long season. We are in the very early parts of it here. Why are you looking confused there?
Why is it 2-0 and it's showing that there was 3 goals in that game?
That's a good question. I did not make the graphic. U15s took on FC Dallas, as did the 16s and the 18s. But U15s, determined display, cut the deficit. They were down 2, cut the deficit late with a 75th minute goal from Toby Trujillo. But 2-1 was the final scoreline there. U16s comeback win on the road against FC Dallas. They fell behind. Zaydan Sahun sparked the rally with a 75th minute goal, followed by late scores from Luke Garcia in the 90th, Roberto Manares in the 93rd. Stunning 3-2 comeback win for the U16s. We love to see that. And then the 18s go out there and get a 2-2 draw away at Dallas. Lucas Hernandez opened the goal scoring for Austin in the 10th minute. Ryan Klinger leveled the match in the 75th. So, man, an intense weekend, all rivalry matches, and you come out of there with a win, a draw, 2 losses. We've had better weekends. We've certainly had worse ones, boys. So still picking up some positive results here to begin the Academy season. Keep it up, fellas.
Yeah, keep working. Keep getting better. Keep improving.
So looking at the nonsense, E, all things considered, in hindsight, I should have written an article for the bets in the middle of the week because hit everything last night. But we will be back with the picks article on Saturday morning. Full slate of games on Saturday, and then, of course, Austin FC, another match, RSL LAFC at 8 p.m. on Sunday. So a full weekend of games. Go to the northendpodcast.com Saturday morning to see what we're rolling with at the books and at Underdog Fantasy. And we had our best ball update come out earlier this week, E. We knew that there was going to be giant scores from Soccer Wise and Verde All Day, 67 and 63 respectively there. So closing the gap a little bit, but both us and We Are Austin TV did well to hold our position. And we actually drew on the week there at the top, 49 points apiece, which retains our 1-point lead here. So I know we got a Gazdag goal last night. We got an Abu Ali goal last night. So hopefully, and again, very glad that Heung-Min Son is with the Verde Pendant down there in last place because he got a hat trick last night. So big weekend ahead for best ball, like 4 or 5 more scoring periods to go. Come on, boys. We need our first title here.
This is going to be a very interesting conclusion to this season. That's been great.
All right, E. Almost an hour and 45 minutes here on episode 257. I don't know about you, but I think it was worth it. Anything else for you here before we shut it down?
Just another salute to the boys and everyone, the staff last night. Way to go. Way to go. Let's get this thing done.
Yep, I second that. So we appreciate you all tuning in, sticking with us here on an extra large episode of the North End Podcast. We are back on Monday, recapping Sunday Night Soccer against the Seattle Sounders, recapping the second team's match against first place St. Louis City 2, and of course talking about everything else that happens in the Austin FC universe between now and then. Enjoy the rest of your week, everybody. You know we'll do the same. We'll see you at the Q on Sunday to take on the Sounders and back here on Monday for another episode. Until then, he's E, and I'm Zach. Vamos Austin FC, everybody. Victory song.
Welcome to the North End where the passion's running high. We're here to Uncle Dave and Big Fudge all around. We sing our songs, we chant as one. Through thick and thin, the match day's just begun. In the North End, we stand together. Through every game, through any weather. From the first whistle to the final blow, the North End will never let go. Under the lights of Q2, our home, our sacred ground. In green and black, we fight, our voices loud and proud. Trio sees magic, Bacardi speed, Stuva saving grace. With every goal we score, the lights turn verde, it's our place. So knows the mastermind, building our dream. Dan moves everything around me as he strengthens our team. Let road